Good morning, and welcome to part 30 of our study of the Book of Ecclesiastes. Now, if you've been following along, you'll understand that Solomon has written this book in an effort for him to determine what is the true meaning of life. Solomon was the richest man who ever lived, the wisest man who ever lived according to the Bible, and he's been trying to determine what really is life's meaning. And after this exercise that he's gone through, he's now down to the last 2 chapters of this book. And he has given us his 4 conclusions about the meaning of life. The first conclusion we did last week, when he said that life is uncertain. There is an uncertainty to our life in this earth that we have to accept, that we have to understand, and that we have to embrace. And there's no other way to explain it except that life is uncertain. And we all know this. We know that regardless of how secure we seem to be, how well established we are, how much preparation we've done, that things can happen that we don't expect. And we've seen this in major disasters around the world and in local tragedies that happen. Things that just come out of the blue. And therefore, Solomon says that we can't understand all of these things. We can't understand God's plan. So therefore, we have to be willing to understand that we don't understand it, to accept that we don't understand it, and to embrace that fact as we go through life. So his first lesson is that life is uncertain. Accept it and embrace it. And now in this conclusion, the second conclusion of these 2 chapters, he says that life is short. Life is short. When we're young and we're looking towards the rest of our life, it seems like it's eternity. It seems like it's endless. When you're at this end of the life looking back, you'll realize just how short life is. And Solomon is saying this as a determinant. Life is short. Enjoy it. And he's going to tell us this in the next few verses, starting at chapter 7, starting at verse 7 in chapter 11. He says, "Truly the light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man lives many years and rejoices in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they will be many. All that is coming is vanity." Let us enjoy the days of the sun. In other words, what he's saying is, today the light is sweet, truly the light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to behold it. Enjoy your youth. Accept the fact that you are young for a period of time. And when the sun is bright, when the days are long, when your life is young, enjoy it. Accept it. Embrace it. But at the same time, if you live many years, rejoice in all your life, because at the end, there is a time to remember that the days of darkness are coming for all of us. We all end up in the same place eventually. He said this before, talking about the wise and the foolish. We end up in the same place. The days of darkness after our death, they will be many. And that is coming. In a sense, life in itself is vanity. So, if a man lives many years and rejoices in them all, then enjoy each day, embrace each day, accept each day. It says to embrace it in the sense that to praise it, because in Psalms 113 it says, "From the rising of the sun to its going down, the Lord's name is to be praised." We are to accept and to understand that each day is a gift, and we are to accept it, embrace, experience each day totally. A Jewish teacher of the 3rd century AD by the name of Rab said this, "Men will have to give account for all he saw and did not enjoy." That's something to think about right there. He will be asked to give an account for all that he saw and did not enjoy. Robert Louis Stevenson said, "The person who has stopped being thankful has fallen asleep in life." So we are to take each day and enjoy it, each day totally and enjoy it. The days of good days and even the days that are bad, to enjoy. The Bible says, "In all things give thanks." And this is what we are to do, because the days of darkness are long and many. And now he breaks us down into something a little more, in the sense that you are to enjoy your youth thoroughly. Because he says, "Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart, and in the sight of your eyes, but know that for all of these God will bring you into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from your heart, and put away evil from your flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity." He's saying, when you're young, do what your heart wants to do. Do what your eyes lead you to. Because let your hair down a bit. Enjoy yourself. Be vibrant. Be youthful. Try different things. Try the different things that your heart wants to try and your eyes see. And Solomon himself did this. Back in chapter 2, in verse 10, he says, "Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my reward from all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on all the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity. There was no profit under the sun." Solomon tried all the ways of pleasure, all his ways of what he considered achievement. He made his works great, it says in chapter 2. "I built myself houses and vineyards. I made myself gardens and orchards. I planted all kinds of fruit. I made myself water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. I required male and female servants. I had servants board in my house. Greater possessions and flocks than all who were in Jerusalem before me." He had it all. And he tried it all. All that his heart wanted, all that his eyes saw, he tried. And he says, do this in your youth. Work out. Try different things. Enjoy different things. Let your hair down a bit. Enjoy every day. But make sure that enjoyment is in the right way. Because in the end, know that for all these, God will bring you into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from your heart, and put away evil from your flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. So, childhood and youth primarily are for ourselves. This is what he's saying. As we become vain, we become inward, and do things for ourselves, the things that we want to do, the things that our eyes see, that our heart desires. But remember, this is essentially vanity. It is not right to do everything unless that is in the proper context and good things, not evil things. Put away evil from your flesh, and remove sorrow from your heart. So enjoy your youth thoroughly. Enjoy your youth, but do it in a proper manner. And now he's saying, express your faith. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come, and the years draw near when you say, "I have no pleasure in them," while the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are not darkened, and the clouds do not return after the rain. In other words, in your youth, when you're young, remember God. Don't forget why you're here. Don't forget who put you here. Irregardless of what some people may say, there's a Creator, and you are the product of that creation. So, remember the Creator in your youth. Don't wait until you get old. Do it when you're young. Keep the Creator in your mind. Before difficult days, before pain, before sorrow, before troubles come, and you're still able to be carefree and fancy-free and enjoy life to the fullest. Remember your Creator in the midst of all this. While the sun and the light and the moon and the stars are not darkened, while they're bright, while everything is clear, everything is fresh. Remember your Creator in those days, because that there are days coming, difficult days will come. And this is what it said, they say, remember it before this. When something happens when you're young, the clouds bring forth rain, so to speak. When you get sick, when there's a tragedy, you bounce back. You can come back from most of these conditions. And he's saying, when this happens, the clouds may bring rain, but they don't return after the rain. Then the sun is bright again, the sky is clear. When you're older, sometimes one trouble comes right after another, and the clouds always seem to be rain somewhere in your life. So before that happens, when the clouds do not return after the rain, before the difficult days come, remember your God and Creator. And then it goes on to explain something about the old age. And the rest of this chapter 12 is pretty well describing the problems of old age and some of the language that's used. It's language we're not familiar with. These may have been idioms and phrases and terminology used in the days of Solomon, but we don't hear these phrases anymore, so they're strange to us. But let's go through this one by one. In the day when the keepers of the house tremble. What this means, the people in the house, when you get to the point where you have a tremor in your hands, a tremor in your head, a tremor in your body, when the keeper of the house trembles. And the strong men bow low. When men's backs, as we get older, men's backs are not as strong as they used to be. Their legs aren't as strong as they used to be. They don't carry them as well as they did before, men and women either one. As we get older, our legs weaken, our backs weaken, our soul, our physical body weakens. And this is what he's saying, when the strong men bow low. So when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men bow low, when the grinders cease because they are few. Again, things have changed Solomon's day, because the grinders referred to are your teeth. Your teeth are few as we get older. Now, we have false teeth, we have dentures, we have teeth implants today, which they never heard tell of back in the days when this was written. So when your teeth got bad, or fell out, or had to be taken out, you had fewer teeth. So therefore, when the grinders cease, you cease to be able to chew your food well, because they are few. And those that look through the windows grow dim. When your eyes become dim, perhaps from cataracts, perhaps from a corneal problem, perhaps from some other reasons for which they had no treatments back in Solomon's day. But when looking through a window, when it becomes hard to see, when things become indistinct and not clear, this is what he means by this, when the windows cease because they are few, and those that look through the windows grow dim. When the doors are shut in the streets, and the sound of grinding is low. The doors are shut. As people get older, they go out less. They keep their doors shut more. They go out and mingle less. They get out in the world less. And often what they do is, because the doors are closed, because they're in their house, they can't hear what's in the city, in the streets, as much as they could before. Plus their hearing is not as good as it used to be. Therefore, it's the same as when if you shut yourself in a room and closed all the doors, you can't hear anything outside. And this is what he means, when the doors are shut in the street and the sound of grinding is low. You can't hear as much as you used to. When one rises up at the sound of a bird, as we get older, we tend to sleep less. We tend to sleep more lightly. And it's not uncommon for elderly people to be up much of the night or very, very early in the morning. They used to say when the cock crows, when the rooster crows, when the sound of a bird chirping is enough to get some people up. This is what it means by rising up at the sound of a bird. And all the daughters of music are brought low. In other words, you're not able to sing or make music as much as you used to. People are afraid of heights. People who are elderly often are afraid, even sometimes, of walking. They're afraid of falling. Getting up on a ladder, up on a stool, up somewhere higher above is just unheard of because no one wants to. They're fearful of it. Sometimes even walking is fearful because of the height of your body above your feet. We are afraid of heights. They are afraid of height and of terrors in the way. Things that may interfere with your passage if you are walking or if you're going somewhere. People who can't maybe see as well because of things that might be in their way and of terrors in the way. When the almond tree blossoms, back in Jerusalem in the days of Solomon, almond trees were there, and they were the first trees to blossom. And when they blossomed, they were a profuse canopy of white blossoms. So when the olive tree blossoms, refers to the graying of the hair, the whitening of the hair. When the olive tree blossoms, refers to heads full of white hair as we get older. Grasshopper is a burden. Even the lightness of a grasshopper, carrying something which is very light, is a burden to some people. You can't carry near what you used to do. You can't bear near what you used to bear. And this is referring to the fact that we don't have the strength we used to have. Even the burden of a grasshopper is too much. Desire falls. Desire for what we used to be interested in. Desire for what we used to do. Desire even for sexual relationships dies off as we get older. The idea that this is all part of an aging process even was well recognized back in Solomon's day. Desire fails. For man then goes to his eternal home. Some say his long home, the home where he's going to be for a long time. And the mourners go about the streets because of the person has died. And in those days, in Solomon's days, there were both real mourners and people who were paid to be mourners, to go in the streets and express some grief over a death. And this is what he's referring to by mourners are in the streets. They are being paid to express mourning over a deceased person. So the man goes to his eternal home. He dies. He's gone back to the ground. And the mourners go about the streets. It's all a picture of aging. It's all a picture of being older and of how things change as we get older. But then he goes back to the very first of the chapter. He says, remember your Creator. You can find that God is still present, whether you're young or whether you're old. It's much easier to get involved with Him when you're young than actually as you get older. But as we get older, as we near death, remember again our Creator. Before the silver cord is loosed. The silver cord refers to that cord which combines spirit and the earthly body. Once that is broken, the earthly body goes back to dust, goes back to the ground. The spirit goes to God. That cord is broken that ties the spirit and body together. So remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed. Or the golden bowl, the container which holds your spirit, is broken. The silver cord is loosed which separates spirit and body. The golden bowl refers to the body which contains the spirit. And at the same time, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, the pitcher contains the water which is necessary for life, and the wheel broken at the well, referring to the bodily functions which no longer occur. When the pitcher of containing the water is broken, when the wheel is broken, when the body ceases to function. This is what he's referring to here. So remember your Creator before that silver cord is broken, before the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered or the wheel broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, the body, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. The separation of the body and spirit. Solomon understood this long before the days of Christ. Long before the days of the New Testament, Solomon understood that the spirit would return to God and the body would return to the ground. And how does he finish us off? Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. Life is short. Life is uncertain. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Make the best of every day that you can. Bad days, good days, mediocre days, try to make the best of them all. Don't waste your time. Don't waste life. It is short and it is uncertain. Those are the two conclusions Solomon has taken from all his studies, from all his efforts up to this point. It may seem obvious to some people, and some people don't even think about it, but they are very serious. We have to embrace life because we don't know when it's going to change. And we have to enjoy it because we don't know when it's going to end. And if it does end, the days at the ending of life may not nearly be as pleasant as the days of our youth. So therefore enjoy life, because essentially all else is vanity. There are 2 more lessons and 2 more points Solomon wants to make. We'll do number 3 next week. I hope you'll join me for it. In the meantime, bye for now, and thanks for watching.